Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Tashruta Gupta, your ACCA mentor. So today I'm here with the most awaited video on ACCA jobs in India. So I've been making videos on ACCA jobs in Dubai, ACCA jobs in UK, and where not. So finally, I have picked India in this series. So I'm going to call up an ACCA member who has a rich experience in one of the big fours, and I want to just narrate a story with that she was my guide too. So when I was an ACCA part qualified, I actually went to her house to get the guidance that how to crack a job and what all things I should be worried about. And at that point in time, I was an ACCA part qualified. So I was just starting with my job hunt, and I was not knowing everything about like how to approach the big four, how it works, because then back in my time in 2020, there was not many resources out there on social media. But you guys now have it. So I'm going to bring my mentor, my guiding light to you as well. Why should I talk about everything? Let's call experts for that. So let's call her up in this session. So hi, Prachi ma'am, how are you?
I'm good, Tashvita. You can call me Prachi. No need to call me ma'am and make it formal. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good too. So first of all, thank you for joining here. And I just told the people that, I myself took guidance from you when I was doing my ACCA, and you were one of my motivations to pursue this course because I remember you even qualified it at the age of 19, right? And you
Yeah,
started working right away. So that was something which really motivated me. And back in that time, there were not many people who were doing ACCA, especially in our
right.
area. So having you living nearby to my house, so that was something that was like, okay, people are doing this, and I have some guides around me. So thank you for your guidance back in that time. And now you're going to guide all the students out there. Uh, and I think you will be the best person to guide because you already have some rich experience in the industry. So can you just briefly introduce yourself, like where you work at currently, what is your role, and how's the work profile?
Yeah. Thank you so much for your kind words, Tashvita. I'm truly humbled by it. I can proceed by introducing myself. So I'm Prachi Sharma. I'm currently a manager in accounting advisory services team of KPMG Global Services. So when I say global services, it's the global network or the KPMG member firms that we are working with. So I am currently supporting the US geography for KPMG. So as part of my role of accounting advisory services, I'm primarily co-leading the buy-side service offering where we are working commonly on mergers, acquisitions, reverse acquisitions, RMTs. So all those kinds of deals is something which we are working on. I also have good experience working on carve-outs where a company is selling another company. So we are assisting those clients with all of their accounting requirements as well as anything related to their deal structure. Keeping aside that, I think I've used a lot of technical terms. But keeping aside that, I think the primary role that I am in, I'm working on the US GAAP, its conversion. What is the financial statement impact on the as a result of the deal? And then obviously my key area of proficiency is currently mergers and acquisitions. Now, that is all about my professional journey so far. I have been working for 6 years in KPMG. I started with it as an associate consultant back in 2017. And I haven't switched any firm yet. I think overall the firm is really great. The exposure, the challenges, as well as the growth that I'm experiencing is tremendous right now. So I think I'm going to continue for a long period over here and being associated with KPMG in future as well. Um, as you rightly mentioned, I qualified my ACCA back in 2017 itself, and it was a really, I would say, um, I was obliged by my institute head who forwarded my CV to KPMG. And within 2 months of my qualification, I was able to get onboarded on the team over here. So that's something which we will also be discussing in future, in the coming few minutes about how exactly we can proceed with the job procurement as well as what's the right direction for students to go into. So yeah, that's pretty much about myself.
That's great. That was really motivational too. Okay, so as you said, you started working in 2017. So basically, you were an ACCA affiliate when you started, or what was your status then?
So I was pursuing my articleship from a mid-sized firm over here in Chandigarh. I showed that professional qualification as well as the articleship experience, and I started my job as a member and not as an affiliate. But there's no harm in starting as an affiliate as well. Most of the big four firms, as well as the small and medium enterprises or industry, clients, they take up ACCA affiliates as well. So there's no differentiation, but I think if you have to pursue something forward in UK where you want to practice as an ACCA, then you need a membership. Otherwise, it works as an affiliate as well in India.
Great, great. So I just out of curiosity, after ACCA, have you pursued anything yet, or it's just ACCA as of now?
So I wasn't a graduate when I was at the age of 19 and I joined KPMG. So I did my graduation from Delhi University. So that's one thing. Um, I haven't pursued anything, but I have a number of certificates related to MBA from IIM. But I think going forward, I'm going to pursue an MBA, maybe in finance or management. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. I think at some point you can go ahead with ACCA at a partner level as well, but to become a CFO or a CEO or in an industry, so MBA is a must. So I think for students who are currently ACCA affiliates, if they want to go ahead with something, an MBA should be a must.
Yeah. So basically, you're saying if you're an ACCA affiliate or a member, like you are, you're working since 6 years and you're seeing tremendous growth in your current company. So you can go to the partner level. But yes, of course, if you want to shift and you want to join in roles like CFOs and CEOs, then you need an MBA. But
That's
ACCA
right.
itself is very much sufficient.
It's very sufficient until partner level. I think for the next 10 years for me, it would be self-sufficient. But if I have to think of the way ahead, then MBA obviously is something that I need to pursue.
Right, very right. Because there are some students, as soon as they start ACCA, they're like, what should I do next? Without even kickstarting their professional journey. So I want to address those also that as Miss Prachi is going, she is working since 6 years and she's saying 10 years is also sufficient. So 16 years just with one qualification. And that's something good because you promote with your skills and qualification is something which is just an entry point just to kickstart, right?
I think partner level is the highest. So
Hmm.
even at partner level, it's not that your growth has become stagnant over there. But if you're looking for something, different from your role because you think that the role has become a bit monotonous, then for that I would suggest MBA. But I think you can carry ahead and go ahead as a partner for n number of years just with
Right.
ACCA. So it's a professional qualification. I don't think it's any less than CA or any of the other professional qualifications from any member boards. So yeah, I think ACCA is the way forward.
True. Okay, so I just now want to share the perspective of a student who's just completed his 9 exams. Let's talk about a part qualified ACC. What do you suggest? Should they start their journey in the Big Four or any corporate right after their 9 exams? Have you seen people working in your firm after 9 exams, part qualified?
I have seen a lot of people joining the job market after I think it's the fundamental level that they call
Yes,
it.
skill development.
Um, yeah. So I think I wouldn't suggest it honestly, because at some point you're stuck in two boats where you're looking at the ACCA qualification as well, and then you're pursuing the job market and working on in an 8-hour shift. So it becomes a bit hectic for the student, especially with professional qualification. Um, if you join a job market, you just have the job to focus on. But if you're also looking forward and pursuing your professional level exams, I think it requires a lot of effort and hard work to put into those subjects. And then if you're working in an 8-hour shift, it becomes a bit difficult. And then I think uh, one can go ahead with it. They can start counting their work experience only if you're comfortable with doing the professional exams along with it. But I think generally the firms that hire fundamental level students are those who are working, let's say, in a UK based environment where they're supporting the UK clients and taking their help in operations or the management areas, let's say resource management, operations management. So that's the point where they give you a base package of 3 to 4 lakhs at a starting point. And then once you get into that role, it becomes a bit tedious because that work experience is not aligned with what actually an ACCA does, right? So if you want to start with it, I mean, you can go ahead with that. You can show your work experience in the CV. But my suggestion would be to complete the ACCA qualification first and then step into the job market.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you can take some SME experience if you are so eager.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think they can take a couple of courses.
mm,
For example, Excel or SAP is something that companies look forward to.
mm,
When I joined KPMG, I knew Excel at the very base level. So base level means I hadn't worked tremendously on pivots or macros. But this is something which is a base expectation, at least out of Big Fours, even if not SMEs, but Big Fours, it's a must. So I think they can pursue a small term course related to Excel or let's say even the entire Microsoft. That would
yeah,
be very helpful for from the CV point of view.
right. Correct, correct. Okay. So now, as you said, that we should start our professional journey, especially with the Big Fours after our ACCA qualification. That's what is something which we recommend. Now, after starting, how should a person actually start looking for the jobs? That's a big issue right now because currently there are many students who are qualified and they are not clear as to how to proceed because the people who are doing bachelors, they have campus placements. They add ACCA to their CV and they're easily placed. But the people, like you said, you've done it from Delhi University. I'm assuming it might be from the distance one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same was mine. So if we are doing it via that, we already don't have campus placements. So we have to get it off campus. So just for that, how should we proceed with that kind of a situation? How to look for a job then?
So I think two things that a student needs to decide. One, whether they want to pursue a job in India or abroad. So if they're looking for a job abroad, then the ACCA Global Job Board or the job portal is the one where they can apply. Um, Even if, I mean, if you're settled in India and then you're applying, the chances are a bit less, I would say, because they're looking forward to hiring candidates who are already settled within their own geography. So the option would be to pursue another course in the particular geography. Let's say UK you want to settle in. So pursue a small term course, 1 year course in UK, and then get campus recruitment along with ACCA. So that would be a good win-win situation.
Hmm.
If you're applying from India, there are a lot of formalities involved with the visa process. With a firm hiring a fresher as an ACCA because they generally prefer candidates with more than 3 year experience. So
Right.
that's something which is for those students who are looking forward to get a job in abroad. For
Hmm.
those in India, I think LinkedIn is the best portal. What you need to do is you need to check out the base companies which you are looking forward to work into. As of now, keeping aside Big Four, we have BDO Rise, we have McKinsey, we have Macquarie, we have Bank of America, we have American Express, and there are other small and medium enterprises who are hiring ACCAs. Um, for those, LinkedIn is the best option. You need to find people who are already working there because companies generally prefer employee referrals as the best method to hire people. So
Right.
connect with them, forward their CV and ask them, initiate a good conversation. Try to get to know them, ask a number of questions about how did they get a job and what are the key skill set required for that particular job role. And I think that's the way forward. The other aspect is apply on the job portals. Indeed is there. We have Naukri.com, and we also have Glassdoor, where a number of vacancies come in. Even if you're not directly applying through it, you get to know which companies are hiring for which role. From that, you can identify it, search for it on LinkedIn, and then accordingly apply on those job portals. So employee referral, I think it's the best one yet. And then obviously the other websites that are there, you can apply on that.
Directly applying to.
Yes. So the
Yeah.
chances of getting a job through direct application are a bit less, I would say. Why? Because there are numerous candidates. So even if for one job opening, there are at least 1,000 applicants who are also applying. So it becomes very tedious for a company to look at 100 CVs and then shortlist those. So that is why I am saying that employee referral is the best.
Yeah. Right. So that would be the correct way to get your CV, at least getting the HR.
That's right.
Right. Okay. So how do you suggest, like, okay, we referred and the CV is there at the desk of the HR or however they check it. So what do you think should be there in that CV that one gets selected over the pool of maybe, let's say, 200 applicants?
So that is what I was mentioning. There might be a lot of ACCA affiliates, so you have the same qualification as those others in your peer list or the competitive list. So to stand out, one, give a good cover letter. People in India, they are not used to providing a cover letter along with their CV. So it's a must. Keep it very brief and concise, like in maximum 2 paragraphs, so that they just get to know a brief about you. What exactly are you looking for? What is your keenness level to join the firm? And mention a bit about the firm as well. Why exactly is it the one that you are looking forward to? So cover letter is a must. When you're giving your CV, obviously the base, pointers are always there. Along with that, add a few certifications. As I said, the Excel one, the Microsoft one. So those are the key ones that you look into. Provide key skill set about what you're interested in. For example, let's say you're applying for an advisory profile under IFRS. So explain in more detail about why exactly IFRS is your key area of interest and what is your current skill set around IFRS. What are the key IFRS standards that you have interest in, or you have specialized knowledge, not exactly specialized knowledge, but something which you think you have proficiency in. Now, if you're applying for an audit role, you need to customize your CV in a manner where you presented a number of key pointers related to auditing aspect. So it's not that you're applying the same CV for every job profile. You need to customize it and then send it over according to the profile you're applying into. You might not have a detailed work experience around it, but at least based on the qualification that you have, the professional level exams that you might have given, whether it's SPR, audit, taxation, you know the key pointers which relate to that subject. So provide those and then submit a customized CV based on the profile that you're applying into.
Very, very nice. That was really insightful. And I've been telling this to my students so many times. Now it's coming from an expert. I hope they would listen to this at least now.
That's right.
Okay. So that is customized CV. Now we have covered that. Let's suppose we are getting shortlisted. What tips for the interview round? The let's suppose it's HR round or it is about the technical round, partner round too. So what would you suggest a candidate should have in himself while giving the interview?
Okay. So the first and foremost, be transparent and be honest. Never, hinder the facts or change the facts materially. That the profile within the purview, along with, something that you're depicting, do not match. So never do that mistake. You would be blacklisted. So the first and foremost is transparency and honesty. Second is communication. Whenever we are going for an HR round, communication is key. Generally, what people do is that uh, greetings are not a common thing in India that we see, right? General exchange of greetings, being polite, being a bit open to the HR about the role that you applied into. That is something which needs to be there when you're talking to the HR, because that is the key skill set that they would be looking into. Whether your communication is fair, whether you're acting maturely, you're not taking an impulsive decision, or telling them that, okay, my salary would be negotiable. Never do that. So at the base expectation, what you need to do is you need to tell the HR that this is my introduction, this is my professional qualification, and this is why I'm looking forward to the job. He or she would ask you a number of questions around your profile and see whether it matches the job description or not. So that's the only role of HR. You do not need to show any technical skill set to the HR. Just need to make sure that your communication is crisp and concise, and you're being transparent and honest with whatever work experience or the qualification experience you have. So that's the only job that you need to do, because the HR is not looking into whether you qualify for or you have that technical skill set or not for the profile. It's just checking whether you're the right applicant or not for the job description that you applied in. So that's the first step. The other one, when you're selected for the first technical round in a company, generally for Big Fours, we have two technical rounds. One is at the manager level, one is at the director level. So these are the two rounds that we have. For small and medium enterprises, it's generally the one round where both the managers as well as the lead, they sit into a single meeting and then they hire a candidate. So for technical round, I would suggest that, again, whatever job profile you are applying into, make sure that you have at least 3 to 4 pointers on your tips with in relation to that standard, or let's say other IESP requirements related to it. For IFRS, make sure that you have good knowledge on 2 to 3 standards. For auditing, make sure that you're aware about the key processes and the protocols, and generally reach out to those who are already working in the work profile related to audit, and then check with them what is the day-to-day tasks that they do, what are the key engagements that they work on, so that you have some idea around it, and the interviewer is not exactly being depicted that you're not aware about what exactly is done in audit or taxation. So these are the 3 profiles based on I would say, the job description that is there. You need to prepare for that. Generally, as freshers, interviews don't expect you to know everything at hand, right? So make sure that you have at least 2 to 3 standards on your tips, and then that's the way forward. Then in the second technical round, what they're looking for is what they do is they give you one standard to prepare on. And then they see how much is your grasping level, what's your key experience around what you've understood from that standard, or the requirement that they've given. And then they ask you a number of questions around it. So if you're able to answer them, then that's well and good. So I think the first one is the base one, which is the most important aspect that you need to prepare for. Post that, I think once you are given a go ahead and a thumbs up for the second round, it generally becomes a bit easier, and the partner is generally okay with the standard that you would have prepared for. So make sure you prepare well for it, and you have the base expectation about what to expect around the key. So basically, a summary is something which you need to prepare for that particular standard. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. Then you have a number of documents that you need to submit. So make sure that those documents verify with the information that you had given to the HR at the time of the first level interview. So that's pretty much it.
That was really insightful and in-depth. So I'm sure anyone who's preparing for any of the interviews would have got all the, tips and tricks how to crack that interview. So thank you so much for that. Okay. Next question would be that what should we expect as a salary as of now currently? for any ACCA affiliate, the fresher?
So as an ACCA affiliate, it depends on the firm that you're applying into. It's very subjective, the question that you've asked me. It depends on the firm that you're applying into. It depends on the profile that you're applying into. For example, as an audit associate, if you start from a Big Four, base would be somewhere around 4.5 to 5. That's a very minimum that you would be getting. If you have a good interview round and you negotiate well, it may come up to 6, 6.5. But 4.5 is at a minimum. That is something which you would definitely get. If we talk about Big Fours, that you're qualified as an ACCA affiliate and you get hired, 8 to 8.5 is the minimum that every Big Four is giving as per industry practice. And then if you're applying for, I would say, let's say you worked in an SME for an year and now you're applying into a Big Four, then obviously somewhere around 10 to 10.5. So that's the base CTC that you get. If let's say you have 2 to 3 years of experience in an SME. Now, this is for those who, let's say, started as an ACCA affiliate uh, uh, in an SME and spent 2 to 3 years in the role, which is not aligned with the Big Four role that you're applying into. Then your 2, 3 years of experience may cut down to 1 year to 1.5 years. So based on that also, it depends about how much of the experience is relevant based on your past profile that you worked into. So a lot of factors come in, but at least the base expectation that you can expect is an average 7 lakh per annum. That's the average. Yes.
So basically, if you are going to the audit, I think that is a little underpaid.
Yeah. That's what
But
I'm saying. It's mixed for each profile. If you're applying into my role that I'm currently in advisory, it starts somewhere around 8.5 lakhs per annum.
exactly. So that is something that I wanted to communicate to. So I thought, let me get some clarity from the expert first. So we've been saying that average salary range of an ACC affiliate would range from 7 lakh onwards, because it's not that everyone is going into audit sector, right? And
That's right.
people are going into other, and then, as you said, mergers and acquisitions, there's deal advisory, there's so many other sectors, including accounting advisories there, then you have taxation, then you have so many other things, and even the SMEs. So you can't
Yeah,
just say that just audit salary is the bottom line. So
that's
of
right.
course, and okay, what would you recommend if a student, let's suppose you are Tashvika, and if a student asks you that which sector should I apply into based upon the best growth in the big fours, which profile I should apply it to? Like there are various sectors, audit, tax, advisory.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest?
So as a departmental practice, it depends on the area of interest that you're into. Honestly, when I applied in KPMG, I had no idea where I need to work into. I had audit taxation. IFRS was already there as a key exam for me where I had my area of interest. But in my professional levels, I opted for audit and taxation. So I was open for all the departments. It was fortunate for me that I got into advisory. But I think it depends again on the area of interest. If you're pursuing for audit, make sure that you have in mind that you would be working on financial statement compliance as well as reconciliations a lot. Things become monotonous at some point. When you reach at a manager level, then and you're also responsible for signing an audit balance sheet, it becomes a bit monotonous with the area of work streams that you're aligned into. So the growth becomes stagnant at one point. Same is for taxation. Else you can do? You can file a return. You can give tax advisory. Then there's consultation related to tax savings as well.
Yeah.
So that's something which you can frequently work upon. But taxation as an ACCA affiliate is not very much preferred by Big Fours. Why? I would tell you because there are already a number of CAs who are industry and they have a lot of experience more than an ACCA affiliate because they've completed 3 years of articleship and an ACCA affiliate might not have that experience. Because obviously for a member you require the 3-year requirement, not as an affiliate. So I think that's something which not a lot of people prefer. And if you only have UK tax experience, which is something which ACCA does, even if you go into the global field, you might be required to work on US or let's say Netherlands, Singapore, Australia. So there are a number of geographies, but you only know the UK tax. So it becomes a bit limited in terms of exposure that you might get as an ACCA affiliate within the taxation department. For auditing, I think it's fair enough that you can go into audit if you have that area of interest. But again, as I said, growth becomes a bit stagnant at some point. Your packages would rise with experience, your level would rise, but your exposure to the clients would be limited. In advisory, how is advisory different from audit and taxation? And based on the feedback that I've heard from my peers working in audit and taxation, one, you get a lot of exposure in terms of the technical areas that you work on. Every day is a challenge. Deal markets, as they come into, they have a new, technical requirement about now what to do in this transaction. Each transaction has its own specifications. So it becomes very, I would say, challenging each day. Secondly, n number of clients you're working into, each deal is different. You need to have a very crisp knowledge on the understanding of the standards and also know that the standards are updating each year. It's not that there's no change in the accounting requirements, so you need to study that as well. So if you're looking into something which is at a very wide level, where the growth doesn't stop, then the advisory department is something which you would look forward to go into. Not just accounting advisory services, there's financial due diligence, there's corporate finance, there's valuations, there's a lot of fields that you can get into, provided you have that experience in hand with relation to the job profile that is there for the role. So that's pretty much about advisory. I had one point in mind that I just skipped. But yeah, I think we can go ahead.
That was already a lot comprehensive.
Yeah.
Okay. So my last question to you for today would be, what would you say that is a salary expectation? Like you said, can you give a range? You're currently an ACCA qualified, you're an ACCA member, you just started your journey right after ACCA. So can you suggest what your future looks like? Give us a range of what you're getting so that we can know that even if we are at that position, maybe not your range, maybe what is the range of a managerial position at Big Four once we kickstart our journey. Because as a student who's planning to start, he won't think that what is the start package. He would also think what would happen 6 years down the line. So you would be the perfect guide for that. Even I'm not there yet. So what would be your suggestion? Are
I'm
you
not being
content with
sure
the
if I'm allowed to disclose this, but I can give you a broader range. So for 6 years down the line, if you see yourself, it would be somewhere around 28 is the base, 28 lakhs per annum till 36 lakhs per annum. So that's something within the range that you would fall into, depending on whether you're in an industry, whether you're working for a client for their own department, or whether you're working for a Big Four. So somewhere ranging between that.
So this is the managerial level range.
That's
correct.
right.
So I think that is awesome. So students must be knowing this because many people demotivate the students that we don't have such high packages in the industry. But I keep on telling them it's not about that where you start at. It's all about your journey after the starting point. It's all about the skill set and experience you get after start. So you're the live
I think
example.
it's not just about being hired, it's about performing as well. So I think the journey starts from hiring, but I think it's just the point where you're seeing the tip of a glacier, but there's a lot to do and go into the depth into. So some tips and tricks before we log off, Tashwita. I've seen a lot of students reaching out to me asking, I've done my ACCA, can I go ahead with CPA as well? So that's something which is not right for the students. Why, I would say? Because CPA is something which is of a similar qualification as ACCA or a CA. If you've already done ACCA, there's no use of investing your money as well as your time and your hard work into a similar qualification which would be rated at the same level. So don't do a CPA unless you need to move to a country and pursue their particular CPA. So let's say for CPA, we have CPA US, we have CPA Canada, we have CPA Australia. Unless you're moving into that country, do not do a CPA. If you're looking forward to a CA because you're an ACC and you want to work in India, again, don't do that. ACCAs get the same level of jobs as a CA within a big four. So even if you want to work with Indian clients, an ACCA qualification is sufficient. Uh, the other um, the other tip that I wanted to give was that if you're working in a big four and you're getting a higher package in industry who is reaching out to you actively to switch a job, then make sure that you have full knowledge about that company and you discuss the growth aspects related to the profile that you would be into. I would give my personal example. I was an associate. My salary was ranging somewhere between 7 to 8 lakh per annum. I got a job offer from a company named Zscaler within the Chandigarh region, right? Now that company reached out to me. I was a consultant or an associate at that point, and it was giving me a profile of an assistant manager, which was like two levels ahead of what I was currently doing, and it was giving me a package of 9 to 10 lakhs per annum, which is something very appealing to you. Why? Because in a big four, you're getting a range between 7 to 8, but you're being offered something at a 10 lakh per annum position in a Chandigarh region where the cost of living is a lot less than what is generally there in the metro cities. So at that point, it appears appealing, but you also need to think about what is there in the years to come. So when I checked with them, about how exactly would be my growth in terms of the performance bonus, in terms of the increments, in terms of the level up. So that is what they said, that increment is something which we given on an annual basis. I won't disclose the percentage. Um, the level up is something which is not certain, right? And there's no performance bonus involved. So even if I would have worked for 4 years down the line for that company, I would have stayed at a little better level, I would say, that I would have gotten the increment. But with the level that I am right now in a big four at a manager level, after spending 4 years in the same company, I think I'm earning twice as much as what the company would have offered me.
Right.
Or maybe even thrice. I haven't compared that with the incremental level, but twice or thrice I'm already earning with that. So the growth aspect would have been limited. So you need to know what exactly the industry is offering you and what exactly they are giving in terms of the growth structure. So those were the two things that I would also wanted to suggest. But yeah,
This is very technical and much needed. Even us as mentors, we can't guide in that. As far as you've shared this, because I've seen this happening. Many students who are currently enrolled with me, they are also doing CPL. So when I ask them, they will ask me, ma'am, why do you teach US CPL? I'm like, first complete your ACCA. Why you already started with CPA? So that is something that was there as a question in my mind also, and I've got a clarity now. If you even want to pursue anything after ACCA, I think you should be pursuing it once you get the experience. You know exactly where you're going,
that's
which
right.
sector you're working, what is their requirement. So maybe if you go into audit sector and sometime you are placed in UK, so I think there is ICAW as well, which
Yeah,
is uh, relevant to the auditors in the UK. So I think
that's right.
you should be pursuing something which is aligned to your experience.
Exactly.
So totally true. So thank you so much. And I must say this was the
Of
most
course.
insightful interview that I've ever taken. And I'm sure the students must be getting the, all tips and tricks from you. And I'm sure they can connect to you on a LinkedIn profile as well.
Of course, of course.
So I'll just share your profile in the description box. And I must address the students also. Please thank Miss Prachi. She's taken out her time. She was really busy with her recruitment drive and stuff. So still, she took out time and she came here and guided you all. So thank you so much,
Thank
Prachi.
you, Darshita. I'm truly obliged and
I'm obliged.
speak to you very soon again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Thank you so much. So I'll
Stay
just end.
connected, please.
Yeah, sure. You too. Thank you, Prachi.
Thank you, Darshita. Bye.